First Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. I'm saying this so you don't deceive yourself and say, I am strong. You will need to run into the everlasting arms of God. He said, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith. Why? Giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So it is spirits and devils that seduce, that will deceive men through men and make men to become immoral. Now, what is the goal of immorality? What is the purpose the devil wants to achieve? Romans. Okay, 2 Thessalonians 2:11 first. Then Romans 1 from verse 21. I want to show you the two things the devil wants to achieve that makes him sponsor deception and implant immorality in the souls of men. Number one is to bring them into delusion. The Bible said, and for this cause God shall send strong delusion, and they should believe a lie. So when this thing happens, God will allow for these people to become deluded, and so lies will become their doctrine. So most of these people who are advocating for the gay movement, advocating for all of this evil, they are not doing it because they want to sponsor something evil. They actually believe it is the best way to go. They think it's the rights of men. They think people should be allowed to do what they believe they should do. They think they are fighting for the liberty of men. That's why they will give their monies, they will give their time, they will use their influence, because they are deluded. Now they have believed a lie. They will die for it, thinking they are doing humanity a favor, but it's a departure from the ordinances of God. So the reason for this immorality is to provoke delusion. Hear what the Bible said in 1 Corinthians 2:12. When these spirits come, they blind men. It said, now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we should know the things which are freely given to us by God. So the Spirit of God helps you to know the things of God. But when you don't have the Spirit of God and the spirit of the world takes over, 2 Corinthians 4 verse 3 and 4, hear what the spirit of the world does. It said, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, whom the God of this world, verse 4, whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, shall shine unto them. So when people come under the influence of the spirit of the world, they become blinded, and then they believe a lie. So there will be great delusion in the souls and in the minds of men, and this delusion will be so much that for some a whole nation will be deluded. Now when I'm teaching you about the judgments of God, there are 5 cadres of judgment. The last cadre of judgment is when the nations are judged. You know, when the new Jerusalem appears, the overcomers will be invited into the new Jerusalem, but there are others who will be in the nations. The Bible said the leaves that will grow in the streets of the new Jerusalem shall be for the healing of the nations. So there are certain nations that will pass the test of the judgment of God. They will be included in what God is doing. But there are other nations like Sodom and Gomorrah that will be completely wiped out from existence. And so this delusion can affect individuals, systems, and nations. These spirits are that powerful. So the reason you see immorality everywhere is not about feeling, it's not about pleasure. It's so that you become deluded, you become blind to the things of God. You now believe a lie, and then you start living a lie. And at the end of the day, that's why I told you, when you live like this, don't make the mistake of assuming that before you die you will repent. That is also delusion. You will live this lie and you will die in it. You will die because it's a programming. You are already blinded. You have become vain in your understanding. That's what prosperity, that's what immorality wants to do. To make you vain. Vain. You cannot receive the things of God. You can't understand the things of God. You can't participate in the things of God. In 1 Corinthians 2:14, it said, the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, neither can he know them. He said they are spiritually discerned. Ephesians 1:17 and 18, he said, do not walk as the Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. He said these ones have their understanding darkened, so they can no longer participate in the Commonwealth of Israel. So when you think any immoral thing you do is about your feeling and you ask God to forgive you, you don't know where you are. You are in the last days. And what the devil is doing is to sponsor immorality, to darken the souls of men, and to make men live a lie. This is why we fight to be pure. This is why we battle it. We preach it with aggression. We live it with aggression. Because if you don't live it, you will be exonerated, my brothers and sisters. Number two, why does the devil sponsor immorality? Through deception. Romans 1 verse 21 to 28. Hear what the Bible says. It said, because that when they knew not God, that when they knew God, I beg your pardon, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful. Hope you are seeing the consistency. Because these ones that bring this deception, they come as Christ. He said many will come and say, I am Christ. So the first thing is to take the place of God in your life. It can be a man, it can be a system, it can be a government, it can be an institution. Anything that wants to take the place of God in your life is a weapon the devil will use to delude you. He said these ones, they knew God, but they did not glorify him as God. Why? Because another Christ has taken over. And as they did not glorify him as God, he said they were not thankful, and so they became vain in their imagination. You see the delusion again. And the foolishness of, and in the foolishness of their hearts, he said they were darkened. Verse 22, he said, professing themselves to be wise, they have become fools. The word fools used here is morons. They have become morons. They are beside themselves. They are out of their minds. They are saying things that are outrightly foolish, but they can't see it. They have become morons. And so there are many nations today that are dominated by morons. No matter how big they think they are, the Bible said they are morons because they are deluded. They are beside themselves. When you find people carry placards and they are fighting to change the agenda, they are fools. That's what the Bible said. When you find people carry placards and they are contesting that abortion should be legalized, no matter how exalted that nation appears in the eyes of men, they are fools. I'm telling you, people who have understanding, they go to America today because God is sending them. And those who are not sent, they are living there. It's only a man who doesn't understand the season that is thinking greener pasture. Are you a cow? America, 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 America. What are you going to do? Is God sending you? You don't understand the times. That nation now should be a place of the convergence of warriors. Men who can stand and have enough power in the spirit to look at darkness and to judge those spirits so that the minds of men can become sane. It's not a place to go look for greener pasture. That's a warfare ground where the souls of men are being traded. And you say it's a place for greener pasture. What pasture? You don't have understanding of the times. If God is not sending you there, that place is a risk. I can tell you today, by all of, there are many people today, they are subscribing to home lessons, private education. You can't allow. A lawyer went to the school of his child, and he found some of the books they were giving them to read. Children of 7 years. And the books they were teaching them, they claim it is sex education. And they were teaching them, they were unveiling pornography, outright pornography to them, and encouraging them to practice. And the man was reading it and said, how can you expose my child? They were stopping him. He said, why are you stopping me from reading it? If you have given it to my child who is 7 years old, why are you ashamed that I'm now reading it out? Because they know what they are doing. And when you say it the way we are saying it now, they start shutting down your voice. The moment I started attacking gay, attacking lesbianism, attacking those things, they started shadow boxing my messages online. You put message that is shoot 100,000 reduces to 50, and they will tell you boldly, this message cannot be heard in some nations. That is to tell you that every internet platform today has material censored. There are some words you call, it appears on their database, and so they try to shut your voice so that they cannot be heard. If they shut it on one, we enter another one. And as God is empowering us, very soon we will start building our own. Deluded generation. He said they profess themselves to be wise. He said, but they have become fools. They have become morons. Go to verse 23. He said, and have changed the glory of God, the incorruptible glory of God, into the image like to corruptible man, to birds, to four-footed beasts, and to creeping things. It's trying to give you the progression of idolatry. Because idolatry, if you study it, it began with this worship of creeping objects. From creeping objects to four-footed beasts. Men were worshiping things that creeped like serpents. They now migrated to things like cows. They now migrated to worshiping men. And that's why somebody's skin color is his God. He doesn't know why. Everybody wants to bleach. They don't know why. It's the spirit of the age. Somebody wants to gym so that he can turn his body to his idol. He doesn't know why. It's the spirit of the age. When self becomes God, know that that person has entered the full gestation period of idolatry. He has migrated from creeping objects to four-footed objects to man. So man is his God. Himself is his God. It's called deception. Instead of worshiping God, men worship snake. Hope you know that the symbol of medicine is a serpent. The wisest men of old, they drew their inspiration from creeping things. Those were the things that defined their lives and their inspiration. And then they came to four-footed beast, and then man started exalting himself as God. You don't know why 24 hours you are thinking yourself. When I come to the church signs, I will tell you why the Bible said when the gospel of the kingdom is preached, so that you know what the gospel of the kingdom is. The first aspect of the doctrine of the kingdom is self-denial, because he wants to bury idolatry and kill delusion. In your kingdom there is no end.